Hey, welcome back to the Director's Garage. It's a hump day happy hour hangout. Yeah, but we're a day late and $1 short. No. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Let me tell you about what's going on in my world. I just got back from a long extended vacation. How long? It's a couple of days, folks. To be honest, it's not that much. But yeah, I drove yesterday 820 miles straight through. The plan was to go out to Colorado and spend a couple of days in the mountains, and then we got to we did our first run of things up in the mountains, and got to the day before we were going to leave, and we had a choice to make. We could either stay the extra day and drive half and drive it all in one day, or we could drive half the way that day and then the other half yesterday. And instead we decided to stay a full day, and it was worth it. I'll tell you some of my touring adventures while we were out there. I have a little bit of just a slideshow, a little family slideshow to show off for you guys about where I was at. But lots going on. I'm a little out of touch with the headphone world and what's going on there. I've been on vacation and having a good time, and I'll show you some of that in just a second. But I did on the trip, I brought my Timeless because I've been really listening to those a lot lately. And again, I just every time I'm with those, it reminds me of how great. Cheers, everybody! We're a day late, but we get there. You know, we always do. But I was up in the mountains. I took the Timeless. We just kind of did a touristy thing. You know, I like to do that every now and then. I'm kind of a road warrior, and I really like driving places. And we have a good, we have a nice car to drive in. It's comfortable. It's not massive or anything, but it's great. I'm going to show you a little bit of that. I'm going to go to that now, and I'll just start talking about it. So, we took off. I'm going to show you the family truckster. Because that's kind of fun. Why not? And here, this is the first one. That's the family truckster out in Colorado, up in the mountains. But before that, and I'm just going to be jumping through a few slides. We went to the Hoover. We first went to I'm in Los Angeles, as you guys know. No big secret there. But let's see. All right, there we go. So we went to the Hoover Dam first, and what was really cool about the Hoover Dam is, actually more alarming, is look how low the water level is. You see the white line along the far ridge there? That's where the water normally is at the Hoover Dam, and it's down all that. You start looking at that, it's like, oh my God, what's going on in the world, people? So that was pretty scary, but at the same time, really cool. It's got to see some really cool stuff. Here's the Hoover Dam, the dam side of the Hoover Dam. You can see the electrical plant down below there. They have like 6 or 7 turbines spinning as the water rushes through there. It's really cool. There's a really nice tour to take there. We didn't take the tour. We got there kind of late in the day, but that was kind of fun. And then let's see, and then we went to, I'm going to try and do this in some kind of order. Then we went to this thing called the Keepers of the Wild, and that was really cool. That was this wild animal rescue, and you get up close. I mean, like, you can reach out and touch the fence. There's not like a lot of distance there, and we saw bears wrestling. I have some video of that, but I don't have it loaded. But some bears were wrestling, and the California black bears, and then they have a bunch of tigers. This tiger is from the Tiger King's rescue. Remember the Tiger King on Netflix? So they got about 7 of their tigers there. So that was really cool to check that out. And see those animals and see that they're doing well and cared for and stuff. It's a really neat place. It's called Keepers of the Wild. If you're ever in, that's in Arizona. So that was on that leg, and then I'll show you. Here's my one gratuitous. This is us in the car driving the family truckster. It's just too fun. But then we got up into the, we also did a helicopter tour over the Grand Canyon. And here's a little of that. There's the Grand Canyon from the air, which was just stunning. We rented went up on one of those little helicopter tours, and the colors are just spectacular. I've never been to the Grand Canyon before, and that was one of the things on the list of things I wanted to do in my lifetime. So that was really cool. And we eventually wound up in Telluride, Colorado. And we stayed at the Telluride Inn, which is just an amazing place. It's this gorgeous hotel. There it is at night, lit up, just beautiful. And no sooner did we get into town, Mrs. Director talks me into going on a hike. She's like, I want to see a waterfall up close, so we're going to go to this waterfall hike. So we hiked 5 miles up, straight up. And look, I'm not gonna pretend that I am the most in shape human being on the face of the planet. Okay, so I'm not gonna. I won't allow you to live with that knowledge that like I'm the most in shape. I've got some weight to lose. I'm about 50 pounds overweight from my fighting weight. You know, COVID did some nasty things to me, and I probably helped it along. But 5 miles up in mountain air when you're at about 8,000 feet, yeah, I was hurt. I was barely holding the camera. It was so funny because we got up to this waterfall. I was so out of breath, I forgot to take pictures of the waterfall itself. That's how tired I was at the time, by the time we got up to this waterfall. So it was pretty cool, but at the same time, like, what were you thinking? You know, and we did bring water though, so at least we weren't, you know, completely dehydrated. And then my wife decided that she wanted to go see a ghost town. So we found this ghost town in just by Telluride. It's an old mining town that had been abandoned, and so that's where this photo comes from. That in the background is the old bunkhouse, that's the mess hall where they would go and get their breakfast and dinner, the mine workers. And then there were these cool ruins up there, and here's the bunkhouse. This thing is just fascinating to look at, and it's just this old beaten down old barn thing where the people used to sleep at night when they were, you know, done with their shift mining. So just really cool stuff. Met a lot of people. You know, I'm a people person, in case you didn't know. I tend to like talking to people, and that's the mining. That's the bunkhouse from the other side, but really cool. But to get there, we drove the car up this road that no car should really go up. And that's where this photo kind of came from. Like, this is me going, we're not very smart people. And my wife's like going, come on, just around the thing. Mrs. Director's going around the corner, just around the corner. We got a little more to go, you know. And then of course, you know, we wound up at the top, which was spectacular. I mean, the views up there were just stellar. So we saw some cool stuff, and it was a nice to get away from, you know, the everyday of it. And so we went on a little trip, and then yesterday was the big massive haul. We went 820 miles straight through. I didn't get a ticket. I'm not saying that I shouldn't have had a ticket. It was a rough. It was, you know, it was a long day on the road, but I made it as short as possible, folks. I just want you to know. So if you saw something streaming past you covered with mud, that would have been my car on the 40. I was hauling ass. So yeah, that was the deal. So cheers, everyone. I'm glad to be back. I can probably ditch the photo behind me. That's a little scary, you know, me looking over my own shoulder there. So that's what I did. That was my time off. Haven't done a thing related to the show. That's coming up. The next episode is going to be a mini episode, very short, and I'll try and shoot it this week. I don't know. I got to get back into the work swing of things, the paying for it all kind of swing of things. So I'm gonna shoot the giveaway is going to be coming up next. And I already told you that this is the featured product of the giveaway is going to be the JH Audio Jimmy. It's a $1,300 IEM, folks. So like and subscribe and do all those things that you do down there. Give us the thumbs up and click the little notification bell so you don't miss that episode and you don't miss the opportunity to score yourself a couple of headphones. So I'm going to give away that. I'm going to give away a couple of other IEMs. I think I listed them before and I don't remember what they were, but I'll pull all that out and get it together. I think the Meze Rye Solo, I'm going to give away those. I meant to give those away in the last giveaway, but the guy never contacted me, so they're still up for grabs. So I'm gonna give them away this time, and we'll send that out. We're not gonna do 9. The biggest problem I have now, I would love to do a big giveaway and do that 9 thing again, where I get all the just shove them out the door, because I do have a lot of headphones here that I would just as soon. I just don't listen to them, pass them on. However, shipping. Shipping. I don't know if you guys have shipped anything lately, but it's hella. What would normally cost me $30 to go to the East Coast now costs me $100. So it's going to be significantly out of, significant money out of pocket just to get this stuff to you guys. So that will be coming up. I'm excited about that, though. I love giving away stuff. I love passing it forward, paying it forward, as it were. You guys are my friends, and we meet here every week. And if I can brighten up somebody's day, cheer to you. We're going to go we'll go probably about an hour 15 today. We're going to wrap this up in about an hour from now. But in the meantime, let's first cheers, y'all. We're almost done with the week. It's a short week for me at work, but a good one because it's short. Okay. Daniel Foster's got the Long Island iced tea out. I've got the straight hard stuff iced tea with a nondescript, I didn't see that, bottle of water or chaser. Director needs to lose a little weight, so we're going to be cutting some of the Coca-Cola out of our lives. Seeing as Coke's not officially a sponsor, they can call me at any time, though. I'm available. Adnan with his Woohoo Audio WA22. It's funny because now I know some of your gear, and it's fun to be able to go. It's fun to be able to reference, like, as I know Adnan's got the WA22, and it's fun that we have these connections in that way, So let's see. Let me just jump back. JTB says UPS ground shipping. Yeah, ground shipping is going to be, or even USPS. It may be USPS this time because they go slow, but it'll get there, and it'll be a lot cheaper. So maybe that's the way we go. Great to be here as always. Great to be here. I love our little hangout we do every week, and I'm glad we got to it this week. I was a little in doubt. If the car broke down in St. George, Utah, go look that up on a map. It's middle of nowhere. Mrs. Director didn't like the rocks. She was not a big fan of the Arizona desert. When we hit the desert, she's like, okay, I'm ready to be. I've seen enough rocks for one trip. She much preferred the mountain life and the trees and all that, and the beauty and the streams. And oh man, I talk about a place to retire. Get a big farm with a stream rolling through it. You could fish in the stream and, grow some crops on the land or something. That would be a great way to retire. So maybe that's in our future. Who knows? We'll be doing the Director's Garage live from middle of nowhere. That's the dream. And then they'll fly me out to do directing gigs. Turn the phone off for a few. Anthony Berryman, good evening. He just paid $50 to Audeze to ship his LCD-XC in Bubinga wood. Bubinga? Anybody know that one? It's a reference. Blimey does that bass it low, but Blimey does that bass it low. I guess he means it's got low bass. He proud his friend ZMF Verite closed. Another great headphone. Roll on, Can Jam UK. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I want to get a Verite closed. Now that I've been spending so much time with the Atrium, which, hey, check this out, guys. This just came. I hinted at this last time, but check out my swanky new headphone stand. It's like it's made of pipes and stuff. Really cool. It's like pipe fittings and then some wood dowels and stuff. Very clever. I found that on Etsy. And I thought it was cool, and I thought it would be, it's a great way to, I have so many headphones, like nice to have something that holds 4 headphones in one place, and it's got a nice solid base on it, like a crate. It's kind of cool, like a wooden pallet. Very cool. And it goes, I mean, how well does this little getup go? I mean, check that. I mean, I don't have the greatest light on this right now, but check that out. I mean, that's, like, it works. Fantastic little accompaniment for the Atrium. Very fun. Got that on Etsy. Check it out. Headphone stands on Etsy. Lots of good stuff up there. JTB says he believes that So This Is Love, that was actually an MTV video, that footage. May have been. I just saw it. I just was falling in love with the raw, that old stuff. I mean, and how great were their harmonies, and Michael, Anthony, and Eddie really fill in that group so well. Their voices just, they blend so well. It's really great stuff. It really impressive. Michael, do I have a playlist? This is from Abdullah. Michael, do I have a playlist that we can go to and listen? Well, Abdullah, give me a little more on that. What do you look like listening for? Like good go-to tracks for auditioning, or do you mean the director's garage background music? Because that's available too, but it's much easier. One day late, better late than pregnant. And in this country, yes, it is. We don't go to politics, but my goodness, we're in a jam, folks. There's a lot of bad mojo floating around, and I'm glad we have a nice show here to hang on it. Okay, and Daniel Foster says, "Come on, JTB, everyone loves little babies. I like the 4-way headphone stand." Yeah, that's really cool. I'm really happy with that. But Abdullah, let me know what you're asking me about, and I'll see if I can help maybe a little bit. I do have some go-to tracks that I like to, audition stuff. I don't think it's a big mystery. I'm a big fan of, obviously, the really well-recorded stuff. Steely Dan is always good audition tracks. I like definitely Los Lobos. That whole Kiko album is fantastic. It's sonically just amazing. And I like listening to, there's an album called Hope by Hugh Masekela, which is fantastic. It's just fantastic sounds. Some Doors, like there's some, if you find the right, Doors are great, but I love the Doors, but there are some really bad masterings of that first record, but if you find the good mastering, you'll get some really good tracks and some really good audition moments in there. Grateful Dead, another one. Their first 2 real commercial studio albums, which were American Beauty and Working Man's Dead. There are great HD tracks. I don't know if it's by HD tracks but they released some of those 96, 192 type files, and they were mastered to the 9s, and the bass just digs so deep on those. They're fantastic bass audition tracks. Love doing that. And anything where there's good, Eric Clapton, Eric Clapton's Unplugged album, fantastic for auditioning. They never, I think only recently they may have mastered that for digital, because it was impressive to me on CD, and I got to remind me something else. But it could use a refresh. Like somebody should go through that record and really do a phenomenal remastering of it for high for high-res files, you know, like really go through and push that bass where it can be pushed, and, you know, pop that percussion. They had Ray Cooper was playing drums on that, the amazing percussionist. I think he's passed now, Ray, but what an amazing, showed up on anybody who wanted good percussion on their record would call Ray Cooper and wind up on their records. Fantastic stuff. Cheers, everyone. Gonna get a little glad to be here talking music today. I'm getting a little music, and I did my tour. Gave you my my little photo essay of life on the road with the director. Too fun. And yeah, so I think that's something. It's like the song "Sign" and "Before You Accuse Me" off of that Eric Clapton Unplugged album. Those were fantastic recordings, but I just listening to them recently. I listened to a 44.1 version of it, and I'm like, there's more here. Like, there's more here to give an audio file. It's just not mastered. I think that they could be mastered better. That record in particular, good stuff. So yeah, well recorded stuff. I'll put together a list sometime when I get around to it. Sure, I'd be happy to forward on some of my go-to tracks. They turn up a lot in my episodes, so it's not like a big mystery. It's just maybe I'd put them all in one place. It'd be easier for you guys to reference. The Eagles live album, Hell Freezes Over, the one they did with, back when I think they're on their last tour. There was a blurb. Wow, I am just all over the place mentally, but follow along, kids. There was a blurb that Don Henley signed off their last concert. I think it was in Switzerland or Germany or something. And as he was signing off, he said, it's been great, but he indicated that it was at least their last European tour, if not their last playing live. But they lost Glenn Frey, and that was like, half the energy of the band. Really, when I think of the Eagles, I think of the great camaraderie between Glenn Frey and Don Henley. And they've had other players, and Joe Walsh certainly is a big part of that, and Timothy B. Schmidt and the other guys. But those two were really, to me, the core, the absolute essence of that band. If you boiled it down to two people, it would be those two. And losing Glenn Frey a couple years ago, that was really unfortunate, because it took a lot of the heart out of the band, I think. That said, Hell Freezes Over is one of the best recorded live albums of all time. There have been a few. Frampton Comes Alive is a great live album to check out stuff on. Bob Seger's live albums from the 70s were fantastic. Live Bullet and Nine Tonight, excellent records. Cheap Trick, live at Budokan. Little thin here and there, but boy, talk about energy of a live concert. Leonard Skinner, One More from the Road, fantastic record, and that got a remaster a few years ago that just opened that record up. It's a genuine audition-worthy album now. The remix of that, fantastic. Get back to the chat a little bit. Oh, and then my one mental note that I meant to say is I got a call this very morning from downtown, Los Angeles. My amp is ready. My big old Krell amp is finally ready. So I have to go bring him a check and pick up this monstrous 100+ pound KSA 150 or something. Sound of Mrs. Director running through the room. She's we're gonna get ready. We're gonna go to the store at about 4:45 or so. She's got me on a time limit today, so we can go get some shopping done and get some food, because we threw out most of our perishables before we left on this trip, so nothing's spoiled. There you go. Let's go back to the chat here. JTB, I'm gonna move this over so I'm not looking so off to the side. It looks rude. JTB says 1 day late. But we did that. We did that part. We're going to go down here to ML Jenkins, jazzercise into a slimmer pair of pants. Yeah, that's the idea. For my exercise, I like cycling. I'm a bicycling guy. I built bicycles from scratch. I used to look for good frames, good used frames on eBay, and then I would buy them, and then I'd assemble components one by one. I'd find like 2 or 3 year old campy group sets that were still in really, like brand new in a box, and people would just be unloading them because it's the old stuff. So you get this, the same group set on the bike that, and I'm talking about like the mechanics of it, the brakes and the gears and all that the pro riders were riding on the tour just a couple years ago, but they're out of favor because they're 0.3 grams heavier than, and like, I'm not kidding, like it comes down to that, like 0.3 grams heavier than the 2-year prior, old campy stuff. So I'd find that old campy stuff and marry it to the bike, and I'd build bikes, and I used to ride them, and not much racing. I was more like a distance guy, and I really enjoyed it. But, with COVID and all of it, it just all went to hell for me. And I put on like 50 pounds. So I got to get my butt back on the trainer. I have a trainer in the garage, and I ride Zwift. I don't know if you guys are familiar with what Zwift is, but it's this virtual environment, and you have this trainer that I attach the bicycle to, and you physically take one of your bicycles and you hook it to this trainer that provides electric resistance, not electronic, well, kind of electronic, but through magnets, and it creates stress on, like you're getting resistance as if you're riding down a road. And it's timed to this virtual environment where you can ride for miles and miles and miles, and you just put on some of your favorite tunes, can tie it back to headphones, put a pair of headphones and you don't mind completely trashing because you're going to sweat like crazy on this thing. And I would ride out for 40 miles or something and do 40 miles in the Zwift environment, and you can climb a volcano, and you can climb, like, they have roads going through these really cool areas. And as you're climbing the hill, it provides more resistance from the trainer, and it's brutal. I mean, these are brutal workouts, but they're really good for me, and I can't wait to get back into that. And we just cleaned the garage out, so I've got some space to play with there. The new garage door is installed, for those of you keeping track. The director's garage. The garage at the director's garage now has a new door on it. We are more secure, and we have a lot more room and a lot more space. So we're very excited about that. So that's what, I'm going to be getting back on the bike, and I'm going to make myself do 40 minutes to an hour a day. That's the goal. Got to just get down there and start doing it. And I actually lose weight pretty fast. It's kind of fun. Okay, Daniel Foster says he prefers the extended songs and albums of the Grateful Dead's Terrapin Station. Does it for him. Yeah, fantastic record. And I like their live stuff too. And I have a boxed set from their 73 tour, their Europe tour. They put out a record, so like Grateful Dead Live 73 or something like that, and it's got some fun artwork on it, cartoon artwork that's just brilliant. But they also released a box set of all of the concerts from that tour, and it's special. I mean, amazing. Pardon me burping. Cheers, everybody. It's Thursday. Happy hour hangout at the director's garage. Glad you guys could be here. I love doing this. We do this every week. For those of you who are new, welcome. Come back. Come often. Come early. Tell your friends. We have my regular show. It goes up every week. Skip this week. I was on vacation, but I will be doing in the coming days for those of you just tuning in, we'll be doing a giveaway. I'm going to be giving away some headphones and some stuff. That'll be the next official episode of the Director's Garage. And I just got back from vacation, driving vacation, and got back in yesterday. So I haven't been working on shows. I've been recreating, looking at nature, which is beautiful. Makes it worth it. JTB says bad recordings are often the culprit when a headphone is sounding bad. Yeah, that can be totally. couldn't agree with that more. The problem with very detailed top-of-the-line headphone is that it will expose the good stuff along with the bad stuff in a recording. And I think that there are some headphones that are more forgiving than other. I would call out the Meze Elite as a very forgiving headphone. It will make average sounding recordings and mastering sound pretty good. On the other hand, the LCD5 and the Abyss, if it's bad, it's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. Abdullah says, is there any benefit to using a speaker amp with a headphone? Well, it depends on the headphone. There are some who will say that the Susvara and the Abyss 1266 TC are very good with speaker amps. I also would say I didn't tell you to do it because I've heard tale of people frying their very expensive $6,000 headphones because they put too much juice into them. So make sure you know the resistance and the voltage coming out of it and what your headphone is capable of doing, because you can fry either the amp and or the headphones if you've got a bad match. So make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you ask around, ask on Head5. The guys there are way more technical than I'll ever be, and they'll tell you what not to match and what to match. I know that the Susvara, there are people who have matched high-powered Macintosh 452s, which is a solid-state monster of an amp, with the Susvara and had amazing results. I've not tried it, and I've also heard somebody say that they've fried their headphone doing it. So be very careful. But yeah, it can be quite amazing. So there you go. Nephilim81, welcome Nephilim, welcome to the show. Making it in, nice to hear Michael is talking about quality recordings again. I bought Kiko because Kiko is one of the best. One of the best, I think, and what just a great collection of songs. I mean, beyond beyond the technicalities of that record, what a great collection of songs. I mean, it's this crossover. It's this great crossover between Latin culture, Mexican culture, and mainstream rock. And who better? Santana does it too, who just had a little incident at a concert in Michigan. He had heat exhaustion. So Carlos, but he's on the mend. I read today he's doing better. He's on the mend. So, but a little bit of a problem there. But another guy though that could blend that Latin culture, Latin rhythms with mainstream music too, and does it so well. Victor Enna says the dude is not an Eagles fan. No. I like the Eagles. And the Eagles to me I came to later in life. They weren't like my core bands growing up. I was more like into Zeppelin and the British Invasion, all of that stuff, and then of course punk and new wave, those eras, and then alt rock. I mean, I kind of skipped the Eagles. I didn't come to them till. I liked the long run, but the earlier stuff, I was kind of like, it was so AM radio-y, and I was from that AM radio era. I was kind of done with it, I think, by the time I got to my formative, expansive years in college where you started experiencing different things, and they were like so mainstream, and they were engineered to be a mainstream band. That's what they wanted to do. If you watch that Eagles documentary, that tremendous two-parter, they admit it. They were in it for the money and the girls. And they were designed to, make pop records. And the band came from Linda Ronstadt. The two guys, Fry and Felder, and I think Felder was part of it. And but Fry and what's his name? Don Henley were the backup band for Linda Ronstadt. That's where the band came from. And they went off on their own. With her blessing, they went on their own and formed their own band. And then they wanted to write hits, get rich, and, meet women. worse ways to spend a life. Okay, so JTB says, we want to see Michael in some Richard Simmons spandex doing sweat. Nobody, I mean nobody wants to see that, my friend. That would be, unless it's like a TikTok, Hall of Shame kind of thing. Daniel Foster says he loves the antique fireman bicycles with the giant wheels. Yes, those are called, what are those called? I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden. There's a name for that. Penny something. Penny farthings. That's what they're called. Penny farthing bicycles. They have the big front wheel and the tiny little wheel. Yeah, they're rideable. You can actually even get the old ones. They make them. You can sell them on eBay. Every now and then you'll see one come up. The penny farthing bicycles, large front wheel. But they're not a lot of fun to ride if you've got a hill to climb. Nephilim says he's getting he's better blasting himself to audio heaven. He's going to be blasting himself into audio heaven very soon. He has all Soviet lineup of tubes for his pending WA-22. Yeah, Nephilim and Nephilim's getting into with Adnan. You guys got to exchange numbers and notes and stuff. I want to hear about tubes flying across the country to demo each other's amps. That would be a lot of fun. His accessories have arrived. He can now freely buy the amp. Yeah, there's a little delay there at Woo. They're going to be a couple weeks from when you purchase it to when you get it. Sounds very good. Cheers, Neff. Let us all know all about it. Of course, you guys got to come when you drop a tease like that. You got something major coming. You got to come back here and report it. That's the way this works. I want to know about it. Jay Cubach. I'm going to try it with Cubach. And if it's wrong, I'm sorry. Quebuck. Happy Thursday. Great hangout space. Yeah, that's what we do. We're here every week. This thing's been growing. We get good numbers. We have up to 70 people at one time. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. This is kind of a vacation-y week, so I wouldn't expect all that much. And we're not on our normal day, so it might be a little lighter tonight, but that's okay. We're just here to hang out and have fun and talk about music and sometimes some gear, but it's nothing all that, we don't do the serious thing here. Too many people take it too seriously. We're here to have fun and laugh at ourselves because we do some stupid things with our money. Hello, Director. Does anyone have any experience with Denon closed backs? The AH7200 or AHD 9200? Considering a buy, would love to get any feedback. I have listened to those headphones. I think they're great. I wouldn't talk you down from that. They're in the Fostex lane. They're very similar to me from what I remember of them anyway, and somebody else can maybe supplement that. They sound very much like the Fostex to me. I would have a hard time telling the two apart. That's what I remember of the Denons. But they're both closed backs, and they're pretty good reason why. They're both dynamic driver, they're both closed backs, and they're both well made. Fostex and Denon make good gear, solid stuff. Any Behringer audio boxes trash, says Rochester 92. Our Behringer audio box is trash. He said nothing but problems with them. I gotta be honest with you, I haven't played with Behringer stuff at all, so I can't comment. Maybe somebody else in the chat can chime in about any problems they've had with Behringer. Daniel Foster did. Are you speaking of Pocket Head-Fi amps? He has a digital mixer by Behringer that works great. Yeah, I'm familiar with their semi-pro stuff, their semi-pro mixers and stuff. I don't use them. I always had Yamaha mixer or Mackie or something like that. I never jumped to Behringer. So I don't know. I'm not as familiar with their gear. And it's just familiarity. Everybody I know in the post world, because remember, I didn't do primarily work with in an audio sense, although I did some of it. My stuff is primarily geared towards video. I was an editor for a long time, for 30 years or more. So my mixers were always bought in terms of how do they serve my video system that I'm using, and that's kind of the basis of jumping into the high-end audio stuff for me, was that. Nephilim says he will his friends. You better, man. Nephilim, come back and tell us what's going on. The order, he's going to order the WA-22 next week. He can't be more excited. Yeah, and you start seeing the lust-worthy photos sent to us by our friend Adnan. You know, you want to get the amp. Roger, more of this internal, like, little sub-discussion. I love these things when you guys are going at it, you know, helping each other out. That's great. He's talking about the audio interface, the UMC 204 to be exact. Left port speaker went out on him. Well, I don't, yeah, again, as far as an audio interface, Apogee is what I use. I've used Mark of the Unicorn Motu before. They have a really good, small, good sounding M2 or an M4, depending on what you need, what your needs are for an audio interface. The Apogee is what I use for my show, the Symphony, and there's an episode, I think it's like 20, episode 20 maybe, way back in time. I show that thing and show it off, and the Apogee Symphony. It's got outstanding mic pre's and very quiet. It was taking one of their big Symphony rack units and putting it into a desktop type unit. So that's why I chose that, and that's what I use. But I've also used Mark of the Unicorn for this show in the past, and I'm trying to remember Focusrite. Everybody, because I'm acknowledging that I'm with my Apogee stuff, I'm out of the norm. Focusrite is maybe the leading interface, audio interface for people who do music and that kind of thing. So don't shy away from Focusrite. Ryan Dietz, welcome, Ryan. Good to see you here again. He's a return customer. Say hi to your waiters for you and waitresses. He hasn't heard the Denon, but they are made by Foxtech. Well, there you go. That's why me not knowing the company lineage and all of that, but makes sense. That's why I'm like, they sounded a lot like Fostex. That's what I remember. And yeah, they are, because they were made by Fostex, you dummy. Okay, so resident idiot. I keep telling you guys. JTB tried the AHD 9200. They were good, but not worth their asking price. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that's pricey. Like, I'm having that problem, I told you, with the Meze Lyric. I am looking for a Meze Lyric, but I don't want to pay full price. I'm looking for them to come down, and they will continue to fall. I've seen them as low as $1,300, $1,400. I'm going to buy in at maybe that $1,100 level. When they drop to there, I'm going to get me a Lyric because I like the way they sound. I just thought they were overpriced. Victor Ennis says, hey, pal, he's looking to get into an IEM for when he's out and about. Any experience with the iFi Go Blue? No, but iFi makes good stuff. I've tried their signature, IDSD signature, and I've tried their Diablo, which is their top of the line. Both excellent units. I really appreciated that the signature was adaptable more so than the Diablo to almost any IEM you can throw at it. Good price for a good amp. And then you also know I have the Woo WA11 that I use for an amplifier, DAC amp on the go. And then if you're into the super high-end stuff, the Chord Hugo 2 is probably the top end of that, of the portable. If you're looking, but you're going to pay probably about $1,800 for a used one, or upwards of $2,600 for a new one, I think is what they're going for now, somewhere in there. Excellent stuff. You know, Chord is the king of detail. If you're looking for detail on the go, Chord, boom. And the Mojo is nothing to, you know, but still that's $700 for a new one. So Chord's great stuff, but you pay for it. Nephilim says he does apologize for that tease and delay. Teasing us, don't tease us, man. We're down. Heal Those Pokemon says, what do you guys think of the 900-909? And if you've listened to it, well, then 900-909. Which are you referring to? Are you referring to? it helps me out if you give me the manufacturer, because the numbers and the 909s and all that. Are you referring? When you say that, I think Hifiman. Are you talking about the Hifiman 909, which is I reviewed that on the show, and it's exceptional. I would say it's very bassy though. You gotta love bass. But chime in on the chat, straighten that out before I go into a whole thing about it, because I'm not sure we're talking the same thing. Because my brain doesn't always remember just the number. There's too many numbers. Ethan Chu says, any sneak peek at the impressions on the next top of the line battle? I haven't done anything on it yet. I was just starting to do it, and then I ran into a bunch of other things that happened, including that deck, the reel-to-reel deck coming back, which kind of sidetracked everything for a few weeks. I was getting closer to that, and what I'm looking forward to is now with the Atrium here. The Atrium is going to be a contender. I still think, like, without A-being everything and setting it all up and all that, I still think the 1266 with the ferrum ore stack, because you can adjust that voltage on them and really play with it, one of maybe my best sounding headphone right now. And it might, like if I'm going to go into the shootout, I always have biases, and I tell you about the biases, what my expectations are going into a shootout. My expectation is that that's probably going to be the winner, but I thought that last time, and the 1266, the old 1266, not the TC, didn't even contend. It was like it came in like third or fourth. So my expectation is that, to me, is the best sounding thing I've got in house right now. And I've had friends come over and listen to the Susvara and listen to that off of the ferrum ore stack, and they hands down, every one of them says that the 1266 is amazing. Like, it's unrivaled. Anything else, but I haven't anybody in listen to the Atrium either, and that's a special headphone, man. That's a special headphone. So there's a lot to go on that. I got a ways to go and some research to do before I don't just do a video. I don't enter those things lightly. I actually spend a lot of time listening and a lot of A-being and going back and forth and listening to the different things that each headphone is doing and finding areas where this one's superior and that one's inferior. I don't just throw those. It takes me weeks to do the assessment and get it to a point where I can actually put it into a show and put it into a presentation that looks like something, that's interesting to watch. So I haven't done that yet, head-to-head, especially the head-to-head stuff, because that's where I start really honing in on where everything is of those top headphones. And it's on the list. It's just, I got to get this giveaway. We're 70 past 4,000, and I haven't done the giveaway that was 4,000. So I got, we're backlogged a little bit here, and I've got headphones in boxes sitting here waiting for me to do. So it's coming. Just give me some time. We'll get there. We'll get there, folks. We'll get there. I know you guys are anxious. I'm anxious too. I love all this stuff. It's fun to do. It's fun to get a headphone. The Atrium showed up. I had no idea when I bought the Atrium that it would show up now. You don't know, especially with Zach. It's like, you get it when you get it. When you get it when he's done with it, and what a treat it was. What a headphone that is. It's a great headphone. The 909. Are we talking can anybody clue me in? Are we talking Hifiman with the 909? I'm going to cheat and go down the list here. Oh, the Fostex THX 901. Okay. Well, the 900, I can help you out with the 900. The 900 is a bass Canon. I have not heard the 909, which is an open back varietal of that. It's like their next generation. It's semi-open back or something. It might be open back. It's great. I had, and you can get those used for a song right now, those 900s and 909. Get the 900 Mark II, though. Don't get the Mark I. The serious revisions came along on the 900 series. Make sure you get the 900 Mark II. I can tell you that. I can also tell you they're fantastic, but the other way to go is look for an old drop THX00 in mahogany or Purple Heart, and because those two headphones were you couldn't pass a blind taste test if you put the 909 on your head and then put the THX00 on your head. And I think the reason they don't make them anymore is because they were so similar. They're like, you really could not tell the difference. That's how good that old drop collab with Fostex was. And they're all gone, and they don't make them anymore for that reason. I think Fostex went, this is a little too eating into our top end stuff. They're both biocellulose. They're all biocellulose driver, fantastic. The bass on the Purple Heart is amazing, and the Ebony is a headphone I've wanted in here for a long time. So, and I've heard that it's just spectacular. It's more on the detailed end of things. So, pick your poison. I think that the THX00 Purple Heart is that fun bass sound, and you can listen all day on those things. I've had them for years. I love them. I still listen to them. They're fantastic. So yeah, you're not going to get me to say a bad thing about the Fostex. I think they're great headphones. I think that $1,800 is a little rich for today's standards for a biocellulose driver. Although the Atrium, biocellulose, same thing. There you go. So maybe I'm wrong, but you can get the, like, $800, $900 will get you a good used 900 Fostex 900. So there you go. JTB says he's looking at a used Flux FA 10 Pro. I don't know. I have not heard the Flux. I'm not even familiar with it. Hard to drive headphones like the Susvara and the HE6 SEV2. Yeah, and JTB and I have had this discussion offline and online. Both of us, when we talk about top of the line, go for broke headphones, I still think that as far as potential, the Susvara is potentially a better headphone than the 1266 TC. On all of the amps I don't feel like I've reached the pinnacle of what the Susvara can do. I don't have that amp, and I'm still looking for it. And I still think the Bakun, I saw one pop up the other day, but it's a European thing, and it would be too difficult to get here. But I keep looking for a Bakun 13R, because that's the magic pairing that a lot of people who are into the Susvara say that's the way to go. So, but it's a $6,000 or $7,000 amp. Ouch. To not have a tube and ooh. And it's really a one-trick pony. What else are you going to drive? You're not going to put many other headphones besides the Susvara on that amp. So, it's like you're getting it for one specific purpose. It's kind of hard. It's kind of a hard sell for me, but it is something that I'm looking at. I've been looking for long-term, one of those long-term purchases. Heal Those Pokemon says if he had the money to blow, he'd love to get the 909. None of his headphones are very DAC dependent. Oh, that's the other thing. Those headphones are easy to drive. They're super efficient. You can drive them with anything, which is really exciting to see. Adnan says Steve Gadd once did a drum percussion. Steve Gadd, the percussionist for Toto, correct? Is my mind good? A drum percussion project with Tabla Master, Ustad Zakir Hussein, Awesome Fusion. I haven't heard it, but Steve Gadd is one of the great drummers in rock history. Heal Those Pokemon says, anyone have suggestions for headphones that need a lot of power? Well, yeah, I would start with the Ferrum Stack. Also, the GSX Mark II. Both of those are high power output amplifiers. The Burson, I still would love to get a Burson in here. And they keep writing me. Trying to get me to take their, the lower end stuff. I'm like, no, I want to get the Grand Tour, the 3X Grand Tour in here, to shoot out with that Faramore stack. That's my dream, but they haven't offered it to me. So, and again, it's from a manufacturer. I try to stay away from deals with manufacturers directly, but that's definitely an amp that I would love to get in here. And then the price is right. They're all in that $2,000 to $3,000 range. So it's a very, very good place to be. Heal those Pokemon. Anyone? Okay, we did that. Jeffrey Allison. I'm gonna go 15 more minutes or so, folks, and then I gotta go rustle up some dinner because we're out of perishables. And for those of you just tuning in, I'll do a couple of things right now. Just got back from a tour. I drove 800 miles yesterday. Not kidding. 820 miles straight through from Telluride, Colorado, back to Los Angeles in one day. So we have no food in the house because we're on vacation for a few days. That's why you didn't get an episode this week. We're going to do the giveaway next. All that's coming. And then I will also tell you, because I do this once an episode, that we have an ongoing deal, Director's Garage. You can go to audio46.com, and at checkout use the coupon code Director's Garage, all one word. You will get 5% off most of the items they carry. It's their way of paying it back to Director's Garage viewers. And we get a little bit of cut of whatever it is you buy, which is great because it helps support the channel. We don't do subscriptions here. I don't do any of that other stuff like the Patreon, any of that stuff. This is all just me in the room doing this with you guys. So there's, I don't have a big revenue stream other than what I get from Google. So your way to pay it forward is to go buy yourself a pair of headphones and use the coupon code, and it comes back to us, part of it anyway, just a little bit. It doesn't cost you anything more. In fact, it'll save you 5%. And then the other deal we have going is with Linsole. Linsole.com. You can, the link is below. You click through, buy whatever you buy. They don't give you a discount, but you do help the channel out. And then any of the Amazon links, just click through, load up your cart with whatever you're buying off Amazon. Doesn't cost you any more, but they give me a kickback for directing traffic their way. So that's how you support the channel, and we appreciate it here because we're broke. Okay. So we talked about Final Audio. Jeffrey Allison says, any thoughts on Final Audio? Final Audio is a headphone that I am dying to get in here, and I'm hoping that our fine friends at Audio 46 will send us some Final Audio stuff to check out. I've had their IEMs here. They sent me a couple of their IEMs. Fantastic. They weren't exactly for me, but they were really good, well made, and they sounded good. But I really want to hear their over-ears. I'm dying to hear those, particularly the regular D8000s. The Pros, they always lean the bass out. I'm like, I don't care about lean bass. I want to have fun when I'm listening to music. Daniel Foster says, Rochester, if it's under warranty, get it replaced. Yeah, it depends on the warranty service of Behringer, but they've been around a while, and I would think they have a pretty good policy for fixing stuff. Adnan chimes in to Nephilim. You guys are my woo brothers. Focusrite got it. Yep, we're going back a little bit in time. Ryan Dietz says he has no idea. He did not know what Mode 2 stood for. Yeah, it's Mark of the Unicorn. That's how old I am. I remember when it was actually Mark of the Unicorn. That was years ago. Back when we only had USB-A as an interface. Hard drives, folks. They weren't always there. Some of us used floppies. JTB, why not go all the way to Volo? Oh, okay. That's we're talking about amps and stuff. Rochester, I'm going to skip a little bit of this stuff because it's an internal conversation with you guys. Oh, boy. Things just jumped around on here. Wow, you guys are having a whole discussion going on without me. I got to catch up. Focusrite, but heard good things about the Mark of the Unicorn. Yes, Focusrite is great, and I would say if you've got Focusrite, stay with it. It's great, great stuff. There's no reason to favor one over the other. I just like kind of My only complaint about some of these audio interfaces is they don't give me a detailed enough visual on the levels. I like a very well dissected. Do I have a camera that I can? Is this up? It is up. It's going to be too hard to do. But there are some interfaces that give you like 4 green lights, 1 yellow, and 1 red. That's not good enough for me. I like to see a detailed representation of if I'm getting close to modulation and how close to overmodulation I'm getting. So that's something that I prize personally as somebody who does audio and whatnot. That's something that I prize very high, put very high on my list of important things. And the Mark of the Unicorn, their M series, the M2, M4, have a very graphic and detailed VU meters, and that's important to me. So that's why I like the Mark of the Unicorn stuff. But as far as sound, Focusrite is as good as it's going to get. One of the very best. Symphony sounds excellent, but Focusrite is kind of the standard, and there's a reason it's a standard. It's great stuff. Adan says there's a Enulum 23R for a good price on Headfi. That, yeah. it's and good price meaning thousands. If I only had unlimited money. Victor says you should look at Moondrop IEMs. Yeah, Moondrop for IEMs, that's great. Victor, I don't think, were you asking about IEMs though? Did I miss that? I think I missed that if that's what he was looking for. But yeah, Moondrop IEMs are great. But again, the 7 Hertz, which we're going to, I think I saw somebody asked about them further down. Let's just keep reading. How you doing, folks? Happy Thursday. Love the interaction today. Totally fun. Lucky says it's his Friday. He just popped open an ice cold beverage. Which one? You guys can't drop like, oh, you got to tell us, got to give us the specifics. We want to know what it is you guys are drinking specifically. Don't just tell us, don't just give us a cold beverage. I mean, geez. He turned on his WA33 Elite. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good amp. That is a great amp. To warm up for a bit, I have the WA5, which is a step down from there. He's going to... And then Audio Nirvana will begin with his headphone of choice, the Susvara. Well, cheers to you, buddy. Cheers to you, Lucky. You are a lucky man. Have you considered an open back headphone or a planar? Yeah, this is going back to Q-Bach. Oh, because he was talking about the 909, the dynamic driver. Yeah. There's good stuff. There's so much good stuff out there right now. I keep saying this, we're in the golden era of headphones. Like, we've never had such good choices. And they're getting more cost effective too as we're getting, as it's going on. Although the high end is always going to be high. The trickle down into these more affordable models is fantastic. You look at something like the Stealth, Aria Stealth from Hifiman. I mean, at $1,800, you're gonna have to jump way over that to get this much better sound. I mean, it's that good. Or even the used HE1000 V2, which is still one of the best headphones ever made. You may get this a bit later, similar vein to the Denons. Yeah, we were talking about the Denons, and Denon makes Fostex, and Fostex makes Denon, and they're all united. Nephilim, hi Adnan. He's been researching like crazy the WA22. Yep, he's like a crazy person. He's pretty obsessed. Yeah. That's the curse. Am I gonna review the Critical X7 Hertz Dioko? Maybe. Depends if I get them. Possible. But I like the 7. The timeless. It's really hard because I just did last week. The last episode was the planar magnetic shootout between the power and the Muse Hi-Fi Power and the 7 Hertz Timeless. And the 7 Hertz Timeless, you have to jump up so high in price. I can't in good conscience tell anybody not to buy the Timeless and start there. And just, if you want to improve the sound, rather than upgrading the headphone, upgrade the power source. When you start putting good amplification into the 7 Hertz Timeless, those things open up. They scale, and they get really good if you put a good amp with them. Will the Thieaudio, I think it's a cheaper headphone, if I remember right, compete with the Timeless? I don't know. Maybe. But, it just comes down to if I get them or not. We'll see. Not like on the front burner, but it's something that would be cool to hear. The iFi Go Blue is great for its price point. However, if you can afford the iFi Griffin, if you need Bluetooth, if not the Mojo 2. Yeah, both all good recommendations. I'd even say if you can stretch to a used IDSD Signature, that is a Ginsu knife amp, DAC amp combo that will serve you very well on your audio journey. It's a great thing, and it's like 600 new, 700 new maybe, and I've seen them go for $450 used. Great, just a great portable amp. JTB should consider the EF400 from Hifiman for the Susvara. Yeah, I haven't tried any of the Hifiman's own amps for good reason. I mean, they're expensive. So I can't speak to what it would do for the Susvara. I imagine it's pretty good, but I'm going by the consensus of what I read, guys who have lived and died by the Susvara, and they all push to speaker amps or the Burson, the Ferrum Ore Stack, which I still am not convinced is all that. But maybe I need to play with it more. Admittedly, I don't know. But and then the Bakun. Everybody's saying Bakun, Bakun, Bakun. So that's what I want to hear. I'd love to hear it. Did you see Zeos is now going to collab like Critical? No, I did not see that. But congrats, Zeos. I mean, he's got enough. If I had his subscribers, we'd be doing really well here. Zeos, give me a shout out. No, just kidding, man. He does a great show though. I've seen Crin's YouTube videos. I think they're really funny and great. And I've seen Zeos, and I think he's really. I could never do what he does though with the thing on the. No, I couldn't do it. I'd get nauseous. The Abyss really sounds awful with bad recordings. Yes, it does. I agree on 100%. Rochester says, well, if audio comes in and out when you wiggle the plug, okay, we're talking about fixing his Behringer. One side of a Susvara using a speaker amp, it was the preamp to blame. They replaced it. Okay, that's like your sub conversation. Trying to surf with what we're people who have direct questions. I'm sorry if I skip over some of this. Can you share some feedback on what's more important, headphone aside? Should he spend more on the DAC, the streamer, or the amp? Well, yeah, I mean, you hit on the main thing. I mean, the headphone is the most important component, I think, of that chain. Beyond that, I would say the amp, and then the DAC last. I think the DAC will give you the 10% of the flavor of it, but I think that the headphone and the amp are the two most critical things. And please don't mention wires because I'm gonna go off. don't spend money on wires, folks. I've told that story a couple times now about the coat hanger. He finds it hard to believe that the Hypsos Ore Stack doesn't do this as far as full justice. It's a sense I have because I've listened, and I'll tell you this, Nephilim, I've listened to the 1266 TC a bunch, and it's just superior to the Susvara on the Ferrum Stack, and I I just have this feeling like there's more there for the Susvara to give me if we find the right combo. And JTB and I are on the exact same page with this. We both of us like, what are you hearing? What do you know? We were both on that search, so I just don't think we found it yet. When I do, I'm going to scream, from the rooftops what I found. It's not there yet. Like I haven't heard. I don't think that headphone has given me everything it can give me yet. He has the folk. Oh, Jay Queerbach. I wish I could. Queerbach, responding to a suggestion of open backs. He has to have closed backs because he does his listening in the family room. Closed backs for me. The Stellias didn't work for me. I don't know why. I just was not a fan of them. I appreciate that people like the Stellias. They just didn't do it for me. The best closed backs I can talk about. The Hifiman HER9 is a good closed back at $600 or $700. The LCD XC is good, but you need a little bit of EQ with that to tame the upper mids, lower treble region. Fantastic closebacks, and I still want to get the closeback Verites. I think that those are in the short list. The Ether C closed from I've heard the Ether C closed from Dan Clark Audio. Fantastic sounding headphone, and that's a closeback. And then I already talked about the Lyric being an outstanding closeback, but just too pricey for what they are. Those are my closeback. That's my closeback lineup. Also, the Dan Clark Audio Noir, very, very good headphone. JTB says he got the Susvara through Hifiman trade-up program. I did that too. I didn't get that. I didn't get the Susvara. I got the V2 HE1000s through them for a trade-up program. They actually gave them to me for an exchange for a review online, written review, long before YouTube. I thank them. That was very nice to do. They took my HE1000 V1 in trade. Fantastic. Okay, trade up. What was the trade up program? Yeah, you just got to get to know the guys there, and they'll help you out. But you gotta gotta pony up some money at some point, and then they'll start noticing you and make a lot of noise online, like talking about the headphones and stuff. Once they know you, they don't. I don't think that it's an open trade up program. Like you can just be anybody and go in there and get it. They kind of want to know you. Before they give you the straight trade up, but maybe they would. I mean, write them. But if you're nice to them, they'll be nice to you. I've had good experience over there with Hifiman's folks. So, but I don't think they just offer that to anybody. I could be wrong. Adnan says he's all gone crazy on tubes already. Okay, we're not going into tubes today, Adnan. We did tubes. If the price isn't an issue, check out the ZMF Verite closed. Yes, very pricey at $2,500. Find a used set. I'd recommend that. Audeze LCD. We're talking the same language. I just recommended all those. Okay. Just popped on a Modelo Negra for the first time. Hey, pretty good beer. Yeah, I'm a Guinness guy. You guys know that. So I'm going to be cracking beers, but I'm sort of had a lot of wine on Sunday, so we're off alcohol for a little bit. Michael Mr. Wizard's birthday, so in celebration up to 50%. Is it really? It's Wizard's birthday. Okay, that's great. And we're talking about Noble Audio, by the way. I gotta reach out to John and I'll wish him a happy birthday. It's great. Healdus Pokemon recently bought the HE1000 for his birthday. She's listening to them right now, sitting in the kitchen. Yeah, great headphone. Fantastic. One of my very favorite. I think that's on the short list for the best headphones ever built, the HE1000, particularly the V2. JTB says Hifiman allows you to trade up in a headphone for a higher Hifiman headphone. Okay, that's an open program, then that's fantastic. Good on them. It's great to see because it gives you a path to their more expensive gear. That's great. JTB says, after being frustrated to madness with the Susvara needing a special amp to drive properly, he's come to the conclusion that his HE1000 is probably the best top of the line Hifiman headphone because it's so easy to drive. JTB, I'm not going to argue with that. That's Sage. That's about JTB and I tend to agree on almost everything. That's the funny thing. You know, it's like he's my in the chat. He usually writes what I'm thinking. So, yeah, the HE1000, the SE, and the V2. I think they're like when you start talking about cost for performance, because you know. Yes, does the 1266 sound otherworldly on this Ferrum stack, 1266 TC? Yes. Is it that much better than that price for performance? And I even would think that I put the Aria Stealth Magnet Edition in that discussion too for best bang for the buck, because how much better they sound isn't worth the price jump. You're talking, and now at $6,000 for the TC. For whatever reason, material cost, gathering increase, whatever it is, you're talking about a $4,000 to $5,000, $4,000 difference. Let's say $3,500 to $4,000 difference in price, and the price, it's just not $4,000 better sound. That's the reality of it. Is it better? Yeah, it's better. But is it that much better? No, by all means. And that's my complaint about the Meze Lyric. It's like, this is a great $1,000. It's a fantastic $1,000 headphone for the Meze Lyric. At $2,000, you start looking at what else is out there. Like, you get a lot more performance out of that, other headphones at that price point, and better sound. But it's a great headphone. It's just a great headphone at $1,000. WA is the best possible portable tube amp you can get. I'm not going to argue that. I have the solid state version of that, the WA11, and I'm very happy with it. Thank you very much. But we all like what we have, right? We all like what we have. That's the thing about this stuff. We like what we have. And there's nothing wrong with being a homer. I'm a total homer. Golden Sound said the AHB2 speaker output outpaces the hype so far. Well, everybody's got opinions. I haven't even I've never watched anything by Golden Sound, so I don't know. I read the article about that Golden Sound did about the where he took down the format on Tidal. What am I thinking of, guys? At any rate, I'm just drawing a blank right now, but the format on the encoding format that they claimed was lossless, that was not lossless. And I came back after reading that article and said, yeah, but it sounds great. Like, I know that they didn't 100% represent that accurately, and shame on them. But if you're going to tell me that it doesn't sound good, that Tidal doesn't sound good, I'm sorry, I'm going to argue with you. Tidal sounds really good. It's so much better than Apple Music and some of the other formats that are out there. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't do exactly what they say it claims, but it sounds really good. So it's like, shame on them, but at the same time, it still sounds great. So there's that. I'm going to wrap up a couple more of these, and then I got to go because Mrs. Director is getting hungry and she wants to walk. So I gotta go. Happy wife, happy life, fellas. That's my advice to you today. Do you ever feel some headphones are just so close to each other? He finds the Stealth and the HD800 almost as good as the Susvara. Wow, those are such different headphones. The HD800s have this wild soundstage, and the Aria Stealth has a nice open soundstage, but the 800 really just Ginsu's the soundstage up, and some people love it and some people hate it, but particularly the 820s, like all those Sunnies, they all do great, amazing soundstage, but it's like they're doing their own thing with it. So and the Susvara and the Stealth, the Aria Stealth, I find very much closer. I don't think I can put the HD800s in that family. Maybe in tone signature, you know, like the tone curve, maybe. But there's such a difference between the dynamic driver and the planar magnetic, and there's a thinness to the upper mids on the Susvara. That's just a part of the Hifiman sound, and either you love it or you hate it. JTB says he's chasing down Susvara Nirvana with a $5,000 amp to drive it. Yeah, buddy. I hear you. I hear you, man. I hear you. We exchanged notes. Okay. Preamping the Susvara may be the way to go. Daniel Foster says that makes sense, Neff. Okay, well, that's that other discussion. None, you're right. Finishing up here, guys, and then we're going to call it a day because, like I said, I got to go do a walk. Never had better customer experience than Hifiman. I don't know why people rip. I feel the same way. I feel the same way about Audeze, and I feel the same way about Hifiman, and I haven't any issues with Focal, but these major manufacturers, every time I've had a problem, they step right up. Like, they step right up. Audeze, fantastic customer service. I mean, they just, like, what do you need? Let's solve the problem, you know, whatever it is. Fantastic. Yeah, JTB's the wizard. He's reading my mind. I know he does. He does. JTB, you're all over it. The only difference between us is that I'm a Blackhawks fan. And I suffer more than you do because I'm a Blackhawks fan. Okay. Have you guys heard the HC1000 compared to the V2? I have not done a shootout between the two. But I will tell you that the HE1000 V2 is a very special headphone. And if you have the opportunity to buy one at, say, $1,600 or $1,700, buy it. You will not be disappointed. I feel that the 1000 V2 is one of the best headphones ever made, period. And I've had people give me salient reasons why they preferred the V2 to the SE. Without having done a head-to-head shootout of them, they both sound good. I would lean to the V2 and save the money. That's what I would say. But a shootout between those two would be very interesting. I just don't have either headphone anymore. I had the 1000 V2 and I sold it. Daniel Foster wants to know why I have not, why I haven't a care for anti-gravity proliferation. Well, you know, we make things levitate and stuff in some of the videos. I've done some video magic, some video wizardry occasionally. Has never heard the V2, but he liked the SE. Yeah, and I would say either is fine. I would say that because I listen to them at different times, so I don't want to get into that too much, but there was nothing I heard about the SE that made me go, this is an obvious reason to buy this headphone. The V2 was such a great product. Like, really, it was the pinnacle of, like, that was such a mind-blowing experience the first time I listened to those, and continued all throughout my ownership experience. It was a headphone that actually hurt for me to sell. And it's a headphone that I would say I regret getting rid of. But I had to at that time to move the show forward. So that's why I sold them. And like I always say, they make more. You know, like I don't get attached to things. I just, because whatever it is, they'll make more. Last couple, then we're going to say goodbye, folks. I want to thank you guys for stopping by our happy hour hangout here at the Director's Garage. We have the shootout coming soon. And it's always great to spend some time with you guys, man. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. JTB says, okay, we heard that one. Let's go to the Heal This Pokemon. You could try out the XS. Relatively expensive and quite fun. I wouldn't doubt that for a second. Michael, watch Golden Sound's review of the WA22. It's pretty good. Look, if... Oh, MQA. That was what I was thinking of. Thank you, guys. The MQA discussion. Yeah, he's the one who did the MQA thing. And I recognize that. And yes, MQA was saying that they did something that they didn't do, which was they claimed that it was a completely lossless format, and it wasn't. But MQA sounds really good, folks. That's the reality of it. So I will leave you with that thought. The V2 is on sale right now for $2,000. Yeah, that's such a great headphone, man. Guys, it's worth considering. Some good deals out there right now. So, you know, pay attention, and I'll try and pass them on to you when I hear them. So, yeah, fantastic. And that's what I think we're gonna. That's a good place to leave it. So, I'm gonna get the goodbye music going, which I can't see because I'm blind. Okay, there we go. So thank you guys for stopping by today. I always enjoy this hangout with you guys. It's fun. It's great to spend some time with each other. Keep an eye out for that giveaway coming soon. That's going to be my next episode, I promise. And then we're going to get into some other new stuff. I've got a lot of boxes sitting here that need to be opened, and one that I opened by mistake from Audio 46, and I have to own that. I'm going to have to admit that on the air because I thought it was something else, and I opened it, and I'm like, oh, this is a headphone, and I was supposed to open this on the show. It happens. It happens. Okay, guys, until next time, I will see you guys before you know it. Cheers, everyone. Cheers. Oh, what a great show.